Hi, this is Susan from the Quiet Zone. Today is March 30th, 2020, and this is the next installment of my coronavirus isolation journal. I hope you guys all had a wonderful weekend and had a little bit of downtime to relax and take your mind off of what's going on around us outside in the big, wide, scary world. Today, I want to talk to everybody about self-talk. Okay. A lot of times this can make or break our response to what's going on around us. So let's first go back to our baseline of being here in the moment right now and finding something positive about it. We have to be here. Okay. Worrying about, and I found myself doing this too over the course of the weekend. I was like, okay, so how is this whole thing going to affect my business? And people don't have money to spend, and yada, 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 yada. What am I going to do about it? And that was my problem solving mentality, emergency situation kicking in. Okay. And a lot of us have been having that go on recently with what's going on out there, is that emergency mentality kicking in, turning on. And that happens to be one of my superpowers, is planning. Okay. And we're going to talk about superpowers a little bit in another episode. But one of my superpowers is planning and problem solving. And this is something that I don't have, and I think most of us do not have enough clear information to create a solution to the problems that exist with the coronavirus and its impact on our economy and its impact on our health. We just don't have the information with which to make a really informed decision when it comes to planning. Okay. And being able to bring yourself back to this moment right now and find something positive about it or something to be grateful for is really key in breaking that. It's like a cognitive dissonance, because we want to solve the problem, and a lot of people who are in management, or have employees, we're constantly in that problem solving mode. And okay, so now I'm going to do this, and then planning and planning and planning and planning and planning. Well, there has to be a point at which we stop the planning. We can't be there all the time. We have to cut that cord. So being able to bring yourself back to this moment and finding something positive about it is key. And integrated into that, there are also self-talk messages that we put forth to ourselves. And that is also very, very important. What are we telling ourselves? This is not only something that's really important for self-esteem and self-confidence building, is our self-talk and our self-messaging. But it's really good for dealing with stress. Um, and as I said, we'll talk about that in another episode a little further, about our superpowers and talking, and dealing with that. But today we're going to talk about what we're telling ourselves about this situation. What are you saying to yourself? Oh my God, this is horrible. How am I going to get through this? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to stop? Stop it. Envision the stop sign in front of your face and say, okay, let's combat these illogical thoughts with some logic. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, first of all, the government has suspended foreclosures, suspended evictions. Okay, you're not going to be evicted tomorrow if you can't pay your rent. That's just it. Down the road a little further, you're worried about your bills and catching up and stuff like that. I'm going to ask you one of the power questions. How important is this really? Okay. What do we need to survive as human beings? We need a roof over our head. We need clean water. We need food, and we need clothing. And that is really all that we have to survive as human beings. And 99.9% of the time, we are able to find those resources as we need them. Okay. So the reality of the situation is that the chances are you are not going to be homeless. You are not going to be living out of your car. The electric company is not going to shut you off. Okay. So don't panic. Let's talk to ourselves in a different way. If you had a friend who was having some difficulty managing the situation, what would you say to them to make them feel better? Okay. Hey, don't worry. Everything works out in the end. Hey, don't worry. We have each other. We're good friends. We'll get through this together. These are the kind of things that you would say to people that you care about. So why are you saying something different to yourself? Okay. Tell yourself, use that same self talk. I will get through this. I have gotten through things that are just as bad as this before in my life. I have overcome many, many obstacles. Look back in your life and look. Did you graduate from school? Did you get a good job? What did you do? These are all obstacles that you overcame over the course of your life. And give yourself some messaging that acknowledges those achievements and pat yourself on the back and validate yourself about the things that you were strong with. And again, in another episode, we're going to talk about using your superpowers. So what I want you to do is start thinking, well, what are my superpowers? What are some of the things that I'm really super good at that you can now use in your self-talk and use to promote a healthy sense of self-confidence so that you can make it through effectively and keep yourself together in this moment. That's all for today. I hope you're all well and you're all doing great. And please, if you feel like you would like to have some one-on-one coaching, give me a call, a message. Go on my website, www.thequietzonecoaching.com, and feel free to schedule a discovery call so we can find out what's going on. Don't worry about money. We will worry about that another time. We will deal with it. I will make it work for you. Talk to you soon. I hope you're having a wonderful week.